with the finish kind of going to be Gunther winning, right? Close or open with this?
Oh man, I think you probably close with this just because of the hometown. It's probably going to be, although Cody and KO be really good. So,
those are probably the two options you want to
I mean,
close
you
with.
got a turn on that. I mean, neither one is really mysterious on the finish, but will KO turn? Do you want to close the show with that? Or do you want to close the show with Gunther reigning supreme? I tend to think with the hometown thing, they build into it and close with it.
It's from Wales. How close is that to Germany? I think we have I looked at our analytics once, and we were like 4% watched in Germany.
Yeah.
So, sorry to those 4% out there. I don't know if Germany and Wales or whatever the fuck it is. You're all Euro trash to me, anyways. Are close in proximity. But anyways, I think this is a really cool match. I think they had a really good old school grinder of a match, which was safe at King and Queen of the Ring. And I think they kind of held back for this one. I think Orton is in a groove now. He's about a year back almost. And I think that, he's doing house shows. He's had some matches that aren't multi-tags or multi-mans. And I feel like he's kind of back into the groove of things. He put his feet in the water coming back, right? And I think he's ready to kind of jump in the deep end. Gunther's starting off his title reign. I think they want to set the tone like they did with the Intercontinental title reign and have banger after banger after banger. And they had a pretty good one at the SummerSlam. And I think here at Bash in Berlin is a perfect one to kick it off, to beat in a nice legacy star. Mike, I was there live last night. Orton did a really good job with that promo, kind of telling us what the World Heavyweight Championship means to him. And of course, there's a small chance he could win. However, that's pretty much unlikely. So I still think that Orton will be a future World Heavyweight Champion. So that promo will go to use and he can harp back on it, but his time isn't now, really. So, I thought Orton, not really a promo guy, especially a promo guy in the middle of the ring with the camera in front of him in the middle of Monday Night Raw. I thought he did a really good job. What do you think of that promo last night?
I thought it was really good. I mean, I knew that with Gunther not being on the show, they were going to allow him to get plenty of time to kind of tell his side of the story, which is good because they've had mostly face-to-faces and obviously the match with Kaiser the week prior. Overall, I thought it was really good. Big-time babyface promo. Crowd was great. I mean, he had a good pop right from the jump. And I think it was really good to establish him as a baby because the crowd they're going to like Orton, right? But at the end of the day, they're going to be cheering for Gunther, I think. So I think it was really good to do this. And, I like how they've been teasing, if he wins this, he's going to stay on Raw, it kind of keeps, ultimately, I do think the story ends up being Orton turning on Cody somewhere down the road because that just feels like a match they have to have. So
do you think that's the start of that?
It could be because they're kind of overly leaning on the babyface side of Orton now to kind of maybe get the scent off of it. That's my thought. The KO thing's interesting though because KO's been working with Orton. Are they both going to turn? I mean, it seems pretty obvious that KO is, so maybe he's not.
Yeah, as we talked about with Pudgy Mike, right? I was just like, yes, Cody needs kind of opponents, right? So Orton kind of finds himself under being one of those opponents. And is it a conduit to kind of get to a Randy feud since they have that relationship, Orton and KO, right? So is it like a conduit to kind of bridge a gap slowly to Orton? Because we've been getting there. They do a really good job, especially under the Triple H regime, of like leaving breadcrumbs, right?
Yeah.
So Orton has definitely had a few breadcrumbs staring at the cut title extra long, saying, yeah, I know you'll give me a shot for it. And when I get that shot, I'm going to be ready or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is there a breadcrumb whereas and is there justification being two parts, right? One, Cody chose KO, right? Will Cody choose Orton? And will he feel justified for choosing Orton because Gunther is going to win this belt kind of underhandedly? Orton got this title shot crossing company lines, Raw and SmackDown, because of the King of the Ring finals, where his shoulder was up. Triple H was like, all right, well, Gunther, we're not the referee's decision is the referee's decision, and we'll cross that bridge at another time. Crossing that bridge at another time was the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. So I thought that was really good foresight, really good planning. Orton is the perfect first opponent here for Gunther. And I think they're going to go out there and have a very professional, great match. I think that they had a really good to very good to borderline great King of the Ring match. And I think they were just scratching the surface here. Add in the non-Saudi, add in the Berlin crowd. The Germany crowd is going to be electric, especially for Gunther. Again, I'll go heel on him again. Who knows how close? Not really your hometown, but whatever. Euro trash, regardless. So, and they're not going to boo Orton. Both guys are going to be immensely over. So this match cannot miss. Add in the physicality. Add in Orton having his boots on for almost a year now. Not match of the year, but match of the night. Match in a long time. You know, like my bar is high for this one, especially with the match finish being kind of predetermined.
Right. Yeah. These two with Cody and KO are definitely going to be trying to have the match of the night. I think that's something that both going to be kind of challenging each other to do, and that's good for us. So we should definitely get 2 long matches. Seems like they're only doing a 5-match show again. And this match, it's going to be electric. The first one was good. It's not their first taste of each other, so I think that Orton's going to be able to put, you know, his side onto a Gunther match now that he's gotten the chops, now he's gotten comfortable. And I mean, Gunther's first defense, you know, he's going to go all out. So I'm very excited for this.
All right, 22 years Randy Orton's been in the WWE. 22 years, he's seen it all, done it all, whatever. He's seen his name on the marquee next to Gunther's. And he's like, all right, I know that style. Is he happy? Is he annoyed? Is he thrilled? Does he give him a chop limit? What do you think?
I think he respects it, because I think Orton's always kind of been the guy without the high risk stuff. You know what I mean? And Gunther doesn't have it either. I mean, he does the big splash on occasion. Orton, obviously, the RKO over the years teared away at him, but he worked a pretty safe style, and I think Gunther does as well. I mean, Gunther's somebody you don't really worry about getting hurt in a match. Besides something fluky happen, it's not like a ricochet or
he hits those chops in safe spots. But your boy's
right.
stiff, and you've been in the WWE 25 years. You want to, like, all right, it's going to be a long night. It was a long flight over. Do I really want this motherfucker chopping me 75 times? Like Sheamus gets all horny for that shit, right? He's just
right.
Like, let's go, fella, right?
Orton will feel off the crowd too, because you know that this is going to be a crazy crowd.
Yeah, good call, adrenaline. Yeah.
So I think, you know, with the crowd, I never really think anything's going to be as good as the France crowd was, or like the Puerto Rico crowd was last year. But, you know, these guys are going to be ripping and raring, and the crowd's going to be good. Orton's going to feed off of that. The pop and the, you know, loud arena is going to be crazy for him. It's just one of those nights that Orton's going to have. He might not have many of these nights left in his career, but it's going to be one of those nights that he can go do a 4.5-star match and, you know, feel good about it after, even though his body might feel like shit.
I think I kind of want this debate event now. Before I was like, I can see Cody, I can see KO because of the story intertwining. I could see maybe Orton would lose, and it would be like kind of like a
Punk and Drew
thing.
With the strap match.
If it was the blow off, maybe.
Agreed.
Not.
But it seems like those three have to be that
staggered.
might open
1, 3, and 5.
Right.
1,
exactly.
3, 5. Yeah, 1, 3, 5.
But Rhea and Damien are gonna be hot too. So it's every match is gonna have some steam. I mean, obviously, the women's tag is probably gonna be the least exciting of the bunch, but
you put it second. It'll be fine.
Put it second, you know, after they do something crazy in the first match, and it's gonna, you know, the crowd will still respect it.
Yeah, good stuff. So, yeah, Mike, there's not much here to build. I think they've done a good job. It's pretty much straightforward. There's not a lot of nuance. There's not a lot of what if. It's just kind of more of what's next, really. What's next? Gunther. We'll get to him in a second. Orton, do you think he faces Cody Rhodes by the end of the year, or is he a sneaky underdog pick for like the Rumble or even super underdog for Mania?
I think Rumble is something I kind of have in the back of my head because or maybe Saudi.
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, if it's not, you know, it's not going to be a Hell in a Cell match. That's too quick. Survivor Series. It could be a special attraction on a Survivor Series match between 2 War Games.
Pudgy Mike had a good point where he was like, we'll probably see a triple threat between the 3 beforehand. So I was like, yeah, that's a really good point, Pudgy Mike. Shout out Pudgy Mike.
And that's a good Survivor Series type thing. Or even that could even be Saudi.
Yeah, and I did respect Pudgy Mike and myself Pudgy Ryan, just so you know. With the name tag here on the in the YouTube. But all right, yeah. So I think that's kind of Cody's fall. Those two guys, and I think someone will turn eventually, and I think it'll be pretty good. All right, Gunther, what is next? Like, what's in the pipeline after? What are they going to do?
It's a really good question. I mean, eventually you're gonna have Rollins, Punk, Drew. Somebody's gonna need to do something. I mean, I guess the thought is you kind of have to go far ahead, right? Like, how long is Gunther going to hold it? Is he going to keep it to Mania? What's his Mania match? And then kind of work backwards from there. Because, looking at everything, I mean, the match that feels like we want to see the most with Gunther is the Cody match but the timing of that's not happening anytime soon. Dragunov, I mean, that's probably something I would expect to see in the next couple months in like a long form match,
Yeah, he just doesn't feel hot enough right now. Not
Yeah,
that
I
they
don't know how
couldn't
they
beat him
get to
up.
that. Like, I think he's in a 3-way next week. Maybe he wins that, but loses in the 4-way. So then it kind of gets a little bit of momentum. They've got to do the Dragunov match at some point, and I feel like they just got to figure out how to get him to that level. But we're gonna see some changing of the tides too, where they're gonna start juicing up that SmackDown show and the switch to USA. And everything comes back to the bloodline. The Usos, the Sammys of the world, gonna end up mixed into that. Does that happen or does it not happen? And if it does, they're gonna end up having to elevate some baby faces on Raw. So the door's open, man. You got Dragunov, you've got.
I don't know. Sammy might be all right, but
you can do a Pete Dunne match.
They're kind of
there's a lot of stuff that they're keeping these guys not way over, but they're making sure that they're getting wins. I mean, you can do a heel match with Reed too.
Yeah, that ain't bad actually. They had a really good IC match at the beginning of this year. I don't know. It just feels like this upper to mid card roster on Raw. Gunther kind of ran through all of them.
Braun being a heel undercard champion, I don't want to say that takes the heat off of Gunther, but it has, like, this tournament has so many people chasing that. It's just kind of a weird dynamic having heel with the two singles titles.
Yeah, it's kind of like they could use a brand shakeup, really, not like a draft.
And it's their two, like, probably the two guys that they're building their future around the most in that spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would prefer maybe one on, like, LA Knight would feel much cleaner on Raw, and what's his face Breaker would feel much cleaner on SmackDown.
I'd love to see a Knight Gunther program. As crazy as it sounds.
Microwave, yeah, they had that microwave NXT match in Dallas,
right.
Stand and Deliver. That was fine, but all right, yeah, I think it's kind of cool that we don't know, right? It's like, I think we're ready for this. Orton was a surprise, really.
Right.
So I'm sure once it happens, we'll be like, oh, we're dumb, right? So
right, and there's still a Rollins match to be had. I mean, that's probably the next big match for Gunther, right? It's like like we were mentioning Punk and Drew. Like, I feel like that's still a couple months away, and Rollins, he should be back relevant from that. I mean, he's obviously got the Reed feud first, but him and Gunther will mix it up at some point.
I can't believe 2.5 years since Gunther Walter changed. Gunther's such a better name than Walter.
Keith Lee, man, he's still think of the trajectory since he sent that tweet. If it's true what I heard about Gunther, good luck, my friend. Well, good luck to you too, Keith.
Yeah, it's a rough one. All right, Mike. This was fun as always. Gunther's winning, and my hopes are high. I think this is the match of the night.
I'm with you, man.
All right. See you on the next one, buddy.
Later.